Okay, we are ready. Today our Zoom conference will be on Principal as a Technology Coach. We're looking at recognizing the 3 bullets, ways in which technology should be used to enhance classroom learning. Did you recently have a tech day at your school?
We did. Did you?
Yeah, we recently had ours. But I know that most of us utilize at least one tech day a week in our classes.
Okay.
I know in Cumberland County where I work, and I don't know if this is statewide or within just Cumberland County, but our math classes use a Chromebook almost every day in their math classes. And it's because they started to use Discovery Ed, which is a tech book. But
okay, and we're also doing the same thing.
Okay.
With Discovery. So that's been, and let me, I teach self-contained.
Mm-hmm.
So what our principal want all of us, everyone in the school using it. Mm-hmm. So we use our Chromebook quite a bit, and sometimes I feel like I feel like the kids are getting hypnotized by so much technology. I don't know if you feel that or not, but I know it enhances, but I'm just kind of concerned that sometimes I feel like they need to do paper too.
Right. See, I don't teach math. I teach literacy.
Oh, okay.
And I use it once a week. And there's a couple programs that our principal had purchased for us to use to help increase nonfiction reading in the classroom. And the technology allows them to go in and annotate text. Also, it gives them question types that are similar to the EOG. And then they keep track. It helps us keep track of their progress. And we've seen some benefits of using that, since nonfiction text seems to be one of the concerns throughout our county.
Okay, let me ask you this. With that literacy part, do y'all use Reading A to Z, or is it another program that you're using?
Tell me what Reading A to Z is. Is that for elementary school?
Oh yes, I'm elementary.
Okay.
Okay, I'm not elementary. I'm sorry, but
that's okay. But I think I'm familiar with it. Is it a big portion of it is in 3rd grade?
Yes, it is.
Testing.
Yes, it is. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with that, but I think I've heard it kind of up in the air. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And see, that program has been good for our students, because I have 10 students, and I only have a couple that can read. So that Reading A to Z I've seen a lot of growth. We have other programs that we use too, but that Reading A to Z, we've been able to do a running record.
Okay.
So we've been able to track, and then if they don't do well, then we just keep them where they are, and until they make some progress.
And I think in one of the papers that I wrote, I made note of that I forget what it was that we had to do research on, but one of my notes was the fact that when they started Common Core and then started that, I didn't know it was called Reading A to Z, but I know that they were doing a lot of testing in 3rd grade. And as a 6th grade teacher, I'm starting to see those students who started in that program.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's showing promise or not.
Okay.
Because I get a lot of students coming up to 6th grade who can read but cannot comprehend.
I was going to say comprehension is one of the biggies.
Yeah.
But you know what? I have 2nd through 5th grade, and they get frustrated because I only have a 4th grade that he can read really well, comprehension as well. But he has some social skill issues. So mainstreaming him out, he shuts down, and to me, he's got more autistic traits.
Going back to our topic, which is using technology with students, I teach EC students also. I have one class as a reading teacher. I do get support twice a week from our EC specialist, but for those particular students, I still assign the novel that we're reading in class, but they're allowed to listen to it being read. So that's helped a lot of those students still read what we're reading in class, but feel like they can participate in the classroom discussion on the story because they've heard it being read too.
Okay.
And I guess that's kind of a technology tool.
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
But you know what I do notice, because we are talking about technology. It really has its plus, because the kids because kids, that's all they know is technology. And I notice that my students helps me a lot, but it has its pluses.
I don't know if you have something called Destiny at your school where even at home they can access information in the media center and they can go online and get ebooks.
Okay, yes, okay.
Ebooks can actually be read aloud to the student, which is a neat kind of use of technology in the reading classroom, I know for sure. I know I use that piece a lot. I have a dyslexic student this year.
Okay.
I do the same with her. Is sometimes she can read, but she struggles a little bit, and so I want her to listen to it being read also, so she can get that comprehension piece in. One of the indicators or competencies for administrators is listed on the screen here.
Okay, I see it.
The vision and strategy.
Mm-hmm.
Has your principal mentioned anything similar to this at your school?
She has.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That was one of our main focuses, because she feel like in order for the students and the teachers to be successful, well, all the staff, even our she has included the whole staff, even our janitors, because she feel like that we really, in order to to be successful in the 21st century, that technology is the
way to go.
Is the way to go.
I know. Are you doing those tech competencies as a professional learning community in your school?
We are on when we have
the staff meetings.
She's always integrating that, and we only have it. I don't know how often y'all have it, but we do it once a month.
Okay, ours isn't. Ours is actually spread out more.
Okay.
And it's when we have our work days, usually during our work day. And our principal is actually one of our, what do you call them? Learning goals in our development plan for the year.
Okay.
The professional development plan. One of our learning goals had to be related to digital competency. So each teacher had to include a goal this year in their professional development plan related to technology.
We did too.
Okay, yeah. So it must
have so many CEUs with technology. We have to have, I forgot how many, but she makes sure that we all have that amount of CEUs.
Yes.
We can be have the credit for it.
And I know our school uses Google a lot.
Yes, Google Docs. Yes.
All the documents that are communicated between teachers and teacher and principal are Google Docs.
Yes. Are y'all doing your lesson plans in Google Docs?
No, not yet.
We're doing our lesson plans there.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yes. At first I was screaming, but now it's like, whew, because it's easy. But then I still write it out because I'm afraid that if the computer's shut down, at least I have a copy. Yeah, but
Yeah.
yes, we're doing that in Google Docs too.
So we
Our
can do
lesson.
a lot of communication using that. And then, of course, I'm sure you use Google Calendar too.
Yes,
Mhm. I
you know,
like
I use it for by me being a EC teacher. I use that to set up appointment, my IEPs and all of that.
mhm. The next competency is listed here. Administrators will be the lead learners.
Hmm.
And I think you mentioned this about yourself earlier, but my principal does not like technology. This is all brand new to her, and she's not afraid to tell us that she feels that way. And so, what she's done is she's asked some of the teachers in school who are competent in those areas to help her learn
Okay.
these things. So, we have two people in our school who are very comfortable with using Google and other forms of technology.
Okay.
They're the younger crowd.
Yes.
And they're kind of our go-to people. And it helps them reach their competency on their professional development plan, but it also helps us with ours too. So that's kind of, I think, one way that we're doing that within our school.
Okay. And that's how we do it. But I'm gonna tell you something. My principal, she'll tell you, I'm not computer, she's not real big, but she learns with us. She grows and learns with us. And we have like the young ladies that have come in that just know computers, just know it. So when I run into a problem, I'm not sure that's who I go to. And they show you, but I'll get there, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, yeah.
And I think you just have to use it more. And this is the first year. I know we kind of introduced it last year where we were sharing documents with each other using Google. And this year it's even more so doing that.
Okay.
So I think every year we kind of increase our level of understanding and usage.
I struggle with it's challenging, but once you get it and you learn something new, I'm like it's good. But then I have my two kids that help me at home a lot. I hate to depend on them so much, so I'm trying to learn some things. But going through this course, and I know the other courses that's coming up, I'm gonna have to really, yeah.
Well, I mean, but I don't think they expect us to know everything at once as long as we are learning. I know I recently had a conference with the parent about one of my students who is, struggling with behavior. And what we had tried to use before was a behavior plan that was stapled into her planner where she writes her homework. And that would get tossed somewhere, thrown away, torn out. So we decided to use a Google Doc.
Okay.
And that way we can communicate with each other, on a daily or even weekly basis, the behavior. So it's almost like a digital behavior plan.
I bet that's good. But with my parents, you may not have this, but with my parents, a lot of my students don't have the technology at home, and most of them get it at school. So I have a couple of parents that I can communicate really well with technology, and I have the other.
And that's one of the biggest problems too, I think all schools have. I know we have a digital learning night for our parents, because a lot of times they come from elementary to the middle school, and we use a lot of digital tools. We use Edmodo, which is a way to communicate, and they haven't used that before. Sometimes the parents don't understand how to go on Homebase to look at teacher comments and student grades. So it's I guess something that our school comes together and decided to do last year, because we were having a lot of issues with parents not understanding some of the tech side of what we use in our school.
Okay, and we're having a digital night coming up Tuesday night.
Oh, good, yeah.
the parents will come to the classroom, they'll see what we're doing, and we'll have other teachers come in to help them understand, like you said, how to get on Class Dojo. We do Class Dojo as a behavior thing, as a PBIS. I don't know.
I've heard of that. I think I attended a couple of those classes one year, but our school doesn't use that. But I've known other schools that have.
Okay.
I know most parents do have a smartphone, so I think it's showing them that if they don't have a laptop at home, they can still use their smartphone in some way. So they can't. A lot of them don't want to be accountable, and so we're trying to show them that you can be accountable, and this is a tool that you have that you can use. I just think it's a great communication. I love that we switched over to home base and all of our grades go online.
Okay.
Because I every week I encourage my students and parents to go on there and look.
But you know what? Our parents do need to be held accountable because they need to know what's going on. And because I have a few parents like that too, but I'm like, then they will know and they can see,
Mm-hmm.
and if they have any concerns, we can talk about it.
Yeah, and it's a struggle, but I think at some point it's going to be more common. I just think it's a lot for them to have to get used to, but I really like it because I think as a teacher, it's less stressful having to sit there and look at grades and, on your own decide what their average is and if they're doing poorly on something. And then right away, if I put a grade in Power School, the parent is notified that moment that I save it. So if that student did not do well, the parent is notified and I get a million emails.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'd rather that than, expecting me to have to call every night. Because I have 120 students that I deal with on a daily basis. And, that's a lot of parents to have to call.
Okay. That is, so you must be at a very big middle school.
Well, no, I mean, it's just any middle school teacher deals with that or more. I teach 5 periods and each period has about 25 students, so.
Oh, okay.
So on average,
you only teach like one subject, right?
My subjects are English language arts and language arts.
Okay. But I know it's a good thing. It's just like with the online Power School. Do y'all call it Power School too?
Yes.
It's hard. I didn't know you can alert the parents like you do. I don't know if
it's on the parent side.
Okay.
That it shows them how to receive alerts, and it's a lot of it too is what we see on the screen may be different from what they see on the screen, especially if they're looking at their iPhone or smartphone. A smartphone will show something different than if they're on a bigger laptop computer at home.
Okay.
So there's a lot of discrepancies, and sometimes I'll even get parents that will come in and they're like, I know you've told me, to look at your comments, but I don't see any comments. And I'll say, well, come in and let's look at this together. And I show them what my screen looks like, and the screen on their smartphone may be a little different. So I think that's something that probably should be brought up too.
Okay.
When we're doing that digital.
I mean, that's something I can bring up to my parents that really go, I need to introduce it to all of them because I didn't know they could have an alert like that, but it's on the parent side. So that's good. That's good.
I think we've already touched on the next bullet, which was personal growth and connectedness, when we talked about how our administrators, sometimes they'll depend on other teachers to help, teach them with technology.
Yeah.
The only thing I think I would do different as a principal is we have a SIT team, and supposedly we have different cohorts that meet once a month, and one cohort could be for digital learning, another one could be for school climate, and so forth and so forth. We don't have those. So I think maybe if our school came together and one person from each grade level was part of that cohort that dealt just with technology, then each person on the grade level would have like a go-to person.
Okay, but you know what? We're already broke down like that. We have like the climate committee, which is, you know, the SID committee. And so it works well because, like I said, the young ladies, new teacher that has come in, they do the tech part.
Yes.
And then our curriculum coaches, they help with that.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're broken down like that because we have about 630 students at the elementary school. So that's a lot.
It is.
No, yeah. So our administrator, she's very sharp when it comes to different breaking down the groups because she's trying to cover all the areas. Yeah.
And then our last bullet before we go back to the very beginning to make sure we covered things, community. So administrators will engage all stakeholders in the purpose and function of school, leveraging multiple types and points of connection and communication to ensure the constant effective flow of information and input. And I'm not quite sure what this means, so I'm going to take a look at the bullets underneath there.
Okay, wouldn't that be where you know, the administrator, like with, I'm gonna just use this, my administrator, she's very connected to the community. So we have a lot of people, we have businesses that support our school, churches. I don't know if
I think that's one of them. The first one states to model responsible use of technology.
Okay.
And, you know, that's huge in our middle school because something as simple as when you open up your laptop and you notice somebody hasn't logged off, log them off before you log in, because if they're logged in under their name, you could, you know, kind of view some of their personal information.
That's true.
And then, of course, it's always things about their cell phones, taking pictures and so forth. And I think if that's used within the school, having certain regulations regarding that for the middle and high school, because I know some high schools allow the use of
cell
phones as a learning tool.
And they do. They do because my son is a junior, and in some of his classes, he's allowed to use his cell phone. Then in other classes, it may be prohibited that he can't use it. But yeah, it is a tool that they use. Yeah,
and then it goes into what you mentioned, to have effective partners between the school and the greater community, including local, state, and global communities, to improve the organization and opportunities available to staff and students in support of digital learning. So I'm guessing taking classes.
Yes.
Maybe the state providing the professional development that we need, and then looking at professional development on the outside, maybe at local universities and colleges.
Yeah. Yes, I agree.
And then the other one says to leverage online communication channels to create and maintain open discourse with the community. And I think our school does that with Edmodo. We use that with our students, but the parents can also sign up too. And that's a way that we communicate information about what we were doing in the classroom that day or that week. It's kind of like an online newsletter.
Yes, because the whole school, I know our 5th grade teachers use that for a communication tool for their parents.
Right. And I taught elementary before, and I know Edmodo is tough as an elementary school teacher to use. I think it's easier when you only have one subject that you're focusing on, to communicate, because otherwise, um, unless you just do it through homeroom, but if you had to communicate all your subject areas and receive messages about all of those, that's a lot that a teacher would have to do.
And by you saying that, I know that's true because last year I was on the fifth grade PLs. I was on the fifth grade where the fifth graders, the teachers met, and they were saying that if they could only just teach one subject, it would help so much.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're trying to, because they teach it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've done that, and I'll tell you, in the middle school, I would never go back.
Are you serious?
I would never go back
okay.
to elementary. So it's I tell everybody, I said elementary school teachers work a lot harder than middle school teachers.
Yes, I have to agree.
And I can agree.
I mean, I don't know, but I just know that with elementary school, let me back up. It's so much that we have to, even EC, we have to keep up with, like the paperwork, and you're just covering everything. And with myself, and I can speak for the other EC teachers, we're teaching all the subjects except the ones that, if our students go out for AMP, which is enrichments, like art, computers, they go out for those classes. And if they're not mainstreamed in reading or math, we have them all day, except for that 45 minutes that they go to art, and they like art may be Monday, Tuesday may be PE, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yes.
It's a lot. Well, I just remember the time it took me to do my planning each week was a lot to work on, and especially when we changed over to Common Core, and I had that new math was tough to figure out without any help. But I think we covered everything. We talked at the beginning about how to enhance classroom learning.
Mm-hmm.
I think within our discussion, we mentioned how our principal is a role model and facilitator of our learning and learning with us, and that we are provided with opportunities through professional development and even at school with the different people who we can, as a resource that we can go to if we need that help. I think we've covered all bases.
I think we did too. Let me ask you one thing. Are yours, you don't teach math, but do you know if your school using New York Engage? Are they using that as a...
Is that related to math?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not, I don't think they do, because I haven't heard them talk about that.
Okay.
I'm actually on a PLC team in math, kind of as their secretary.
Okay.
The only thing I'm familiar with that they use is just that tech tool. Tech book, yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I'll ask them about the New York Engage. Is that something your county is using?
That's what we're using now, and it's connected to the Common Core.
Okay.
So that's what they... I mean, I don't know how long we'll be on it, because every year we're changing, or every 2 or 3 years. But last year and this year, it's been a resource for this, for our school or for our county.
And that's almost a form of communication through technology, because however you were able to kind of get that program, was it something that was online that you can gather resources from?
We do the Zern, which is online, is math, and it's like the New York Math, the New York Engage. All of it is connected, and the kids seem to grasp it pretty good. So I just hope if it's something that we're going to use, I hope we use it more than 2 years. If it's the second.
This is the first year of its use, or the second?
This is the second year.
And
I'm just hoping that, over the summer they don't decide that, okay, let's try a new program.
Yeah, I guess then this year is the year they look to see if there's any growth then from its use.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Now, how about Moby Max? Do y'all do Moby Max?